Hey there, it's Sandy Freshie. I'm back with another video. We're talking this month about surviving change and self-care. And in the last video, I talked about how I'm going through some changes, and you can tell we're actually moving my office because we're getting our house ready to go on the market since we're building a new home. So there's a lot of external change and internal change that goes along with that. And I'm guessing, given what I see among my friends, my colleagues, my clients, that you may also be going through some sort of change in your life. So please excuse what's going on here. We haven't quite gotten to the point where we're ready to change, move furniture and stuff like that, but I didn't want to wait another day to get this video out to you. So in the last video, I gave you 2 points about how to survive change. And the first one was to not be afraid to tear stuff down or let things fall apart, because it puts you into this flow of what initially may look like destruction, or what initially is destruction, that leads you into reconstruction in your life. So it's kind of like when you ride in that flow and you let it fall away, it will go much more, it will go for you maybe more easily or with less resistance. And then number 2 was to listen to your body. And that's actually why we haven't quite moved this furniture yet, because my husband and I realized we needed to take a little break and a little breather from what we were doing so that we could gather our strength again and move into the next phase of this transition. So I was making some notes this morning, and I realized that I probably have more than 3-4 recommendations, or 3 or 4 things that I want to share with you about how to survive change. And actually the one that I want to talk about this time was not on the original list. So let's just go for it and see what happens here. So I guess this would be number 3 on surviving change, or how to survive change. And it might be a little controversial for some of you, because I know that a lot of you may struggle with this, because you are probably like a lot of my clients who come to me and struggle with this issue. And what I'm going to recommend, and I want you to keep an open mind while I kind of flesh this out for you, I recommend, or one of the things I've discovered that works for me, is that it helps me when I'm going through change and transition to have some sort of a routine. And the reason that I say it's controversial is because a lot of the people that I work with really struggle with routine. And it's not necessarily that you don't have a routine, or that you don't have a set of habits that support you, or that you do in a certain order. It's that you may struggle with sticking with those habits or with that routine. So I don't have my charts with me that I normally have to kind of show you what I want to show you on the chart. But if you have your chart, I want you to look at the sacral center, which is that second square from the bottom of the chart. And there's a little gate that hangs up toward the G center, up, pointing up toward the head, up toward the top, off of the sacral center. And it's labeled with a number 5. That's the gate 5. If it's colored in, you have consistent rhythm and routine. If it's not, you're likely to struggle with sticking to one particular routine. And that would probably make up most of us. I don't have the gate 5. So let me give you a couple of hacks, or a couple of things that I've discovered that actually assist me in creating some sort of rhythm in my life, some sort of regularity in my life, so that I can kind of stay in this flow of things falling apart, letting things go, rearranging, reorganizing, and accepting the unfolding of the unknown. It really helps to have that stability of some sort of routine, but that doesn't mean you have to have the same routine every day. There are a few things that I do first thing in the morning that kind of set me up for the day. And I find that in these times, it really doesn't serve me to really stick to a calendar except for the high points, and I'll weave that into how my routine works. And it doesn't help me to kind of do this do or die. I'm going to create a video from 9 to 11 every day, or sit at my desk from this time to this time every day. I have to flow with it. And if you're going through those changes where the unexpected comes up, or where you've got a lot of things going on, it's really important to be able to roll with it, but to also have some kind of a foundation in your habits and your routine and some structure, so that you're just not, so that you can get the things done that you need to get done, and you're not all over the place with your energy and your focus. So here's my daily routine, and I've been really blessed to have a friend who holds me accountable in the morning, because if I don't set my morning up right, if I don't set my morning up in a way where I've set some intentions, where I've attended to myself first, and I've put myself in a place of mindfulness, I don't usually ride through the rest of the day in a very graceful way. So my friend, and you can catch her if you go back through my videos, back a couple years ago, we were doing something called the Power Half Hour. You can catch her there. Her name is Amanda Young. She's an awesome energy worker. However, what she does for a living is even more awesome. She's a brand designer, and she specializes in helping heart-centered people really get a handle, or really create branding for their businesses that reflects the essence of who they are. So in that, she realized that she needed to have some sort of an energy component to her business. So as we hold each other accountable, she shares things with me, I share things with her, and she shared with me this beautiful 12-minute meditation. It's like the most awesome, powerful thing that I've done in my morning routine for a long time. And let me see if I get the name right. It's called the Daily Energy Boost Meditation, and I'll put a link down below so that you can take a look at it if you're looking for something to set your day and you don't have a lot of time, and you don't have hours to sit on your cushion and meditate. This may be the thing. And not only that, it's something that you can use, or if you have something that is 10 to 12 minutes long, you can take breaks throughout your day to do this type of intention setting. So I've been getting up every morning. My dog helps me to stay in a routine. I have a habit of making a pot of coffee for my husband and I when he's home, and then going and letting my dog out, and then I sit on the couch with my headphones and I listen to her daily energy boost meditation. And that helps me to clear the pathway. It gives me the signal that I've tended to myself. And then I take about 15 minutes after that, or at some point, I may do a little running around, tending to something, because I do get distracted, tending to something that I see in front of me. But at some point early in the day, I sit down for about 15 minutes and I write out maybe 1, 2, or no more than 3 top priorities that I want to get done, or will feel accomplished, or feel good at the end of the day if they happen. And then from there, I kind of look at what's on my list and I, do the typical to-do list and whatever. Here's what happens though if I just kind of set that down and I don't really look at it. I lose my structure because things come in, in this case with building a house and packing and moving, I'm getting texts and calls, and my husband wants me to look at the budget and do all of these things that I wouldn't normally do if I just had my regular business building workday. So I actually make my time to attend to my priorities very concrete. They're kind of like the posts of my foundation for my day. So that's where I'll pull out my calendar and I'll set aside a block of time, an hour or 2 hours at a time, depending on how long it might take to do a certain thing. And then if I feel like it's still a little bit wobbly, I'll ask for some accountability. And I'm very lucky to be part of a service or a community really called FocusMate. And I know if you've been following me, I've mentioned it before, but if you're having trouble, especially with the sitting down and focusing at your computer stuff, focusmate.com is where you can go to schedule an hour or two at a time to co-work with somebody else via video conference. And I'm not going to elaborate on that. I'm just saying that something like that really helps to kind of establish and anchor in the priorities, so that when you have them there, so that everything else can kind of flow around it. So I want to encourage you at this point to take a look at your habits. Take a look at what's serving you, what's not serving you. Really, even if your morning routine for a while is just about observing what your habits are, that's a good start in beginning to create some sort of a routine that's stable enough yet flexible enough for you to ride with the changes in your life. So I think that's it. We're at over 12 minutes, so I'm going to stop there. I hope this was helpful. I'll come back hopefully in the other room with my new office setup, and we'll talk a little bit more about surviving change and how you can take better care of yourself through that process. So until the next time, be well.